So one of the first jobs I did when I started here as the city archaeologist was look at the Lincoln Heritage Database and see in what ways it could be made more suitable. And that pretty soon became clear that it was going to involve a whole new platform from the current platform of an old database and an unlinked mapping system. We needed something modern that linked the two. There were a number of options available, but none of them seemed quite right. Some of them were too expensive, some of them were not user-friendly enough. But then I came across the ARCHES platform that had been used so effectively in Los Angeles, and I contacted the Getty Conservation Institute after getting their details from Historic England. Now, what drives me in my job is managing the heritage of this city, and that's best done by making informed recommendations and decisions. The evidence base that I use for that is not currently fit for purpose, but through the ARCHES project it's becoming better and better even now, and when the project's finished I expect to have a world-class heritage database that is going to enable me to make clearer decisions, and that is going to change the way we work here in Lincoln.
As a conservation officer, I have a much more interactive relationship with our historic environment records, because that's our evidence base that tells me about what's important and why. It tells me when the place was built, who lived there, and all those interesting nuggets that brings the past alive. But also it means that hopefully with our new system, Arcade, I can feed back into that and put my information based on site visits, planning applications, and so we can then enrich that list, and that way we can all value our historic environment.
I think there are a number of components to the benefits of this new software for us. I think first and foremost, as a tool for the planning officers within the department to be able to access that information in a much easier fashion, much more user-friendly, which will enable them to first-hand have the sight of that wealth of information that we have and be able to use that in negotiations that they have direct with developers. And secondly, I think one of the most important factors with this is how it will enable us to engage with the population at large, really. Getting that message out there about the heritage and the history of the city in a more effective way. So it's a real asset for us to be able to do that.
So in a lot of ways, Lincoln is one big archaeological site. The area that was once the Roman city of Lindum Colonia, the entire city contains Roman archaeology underneath it. The information that's currently in the heritage database is good, but the way it's structured is very much of its time. But there are a lot of things that we don't currently record. So we don't really have a lot of information recorded on the people who've been important in the life of the city. And we also don't really record historical events like battles and plagues. And what ARCHES is going to help us to do is not merely record all the things we currently record and the things like we don't currently record. It's going to help us to link them together, and those linkages in themselves are going to help people to draw new stories and new connections and potentially build their own histories of Lincoln from the information that we provide even now. Well, this project is about much more than just Lincoln. We're partnering along with the Getty Conservation Institute with the London Historic Environment Record, which means that two of the most important Roman cities in this country are going to be using ARCHES as their heritage database system. And once we've got successful implementations of ARCHES in those two cities, we anticipate that this could become one of the main database systems in the UK for people to use to manage heritage.
I think people that visit Lincoln that have never been to Lincoln before are always surprised of the quality of the place and the friendliness of the people. And the fact that I think it shines through that certainly people that work in the public sector in areas such as mine care very much about their environment and are doing everything they can to try and protect and enhance that.
So I am a Lincoln girl, and so I've grown up living this city. I actually worked at Lincoln Cathedral as a stone and sculpture conservator, so I have a real passion for Lincoln being valued and promoted so other people realise what a great city it is.
We're not a very big team, and we have a lot to cover, both in terms of buildings and in archaeology, and the sheer number of developments that are coming forward at the moment. Now, that challenge is one that is going to be a lot easier to meet when we have a heritage inventory system that's going to give us the information we need when we need it. Now, Lincoln, I think, deserves a system that enables us to do this. I think it's a very easy city to fall in love with.